sending that out to you. And you'll also get the PDF of this presentation. But if I'm very laid back. Most of you know me or have been on training in the past. And if you have a question, please feel free to either unmute and ask, or you can put that in the chat. These webinars or trainings I do every single week, so it's every Friday at noon. There will be a few here and there that'll be on a Thursday, but you'll be notified previous so that you'll know that. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And if everyone can keep themselves muted, that would be great, just so that we could make sure everyone can hear me. So today we are going to chat about Facebook ads. Now, Facebook ads can leave some feeling kind of like confused and not quite sure exactly what they're for. And sometimes people actually think that Facebook ads don't really work. And whenever someone comes to me and says, you know what, I spent all this money on Facebook ads and I didn't get any response, my response to them is either A, that was the first time they've ever done Facebook ads, or they weren't doing the Facebook ads in the most optimal way. So what I like to do is teach people how to actually spend less money, because I know as an entrepreneur and, you know, as a small business owner, I don't want to spend a ton of money in order to get return on investment. I cannot afford that. So I have 3 tips that are going to be helpful for you guys to go ahead and move into that space and do it a little bit more efficiently. I also added in a 4th tip because I'm one of those people who can't just stick to what I say. As I'm going through, I'm like, oh, there's so many things I want to tell them. So I added in a 4th tip so everyone can see. So the first thing that we're going to talk about today is targeting the right audience. While that might sound pretty basic, it's actually not. There is a way to target an audience where you can get to the exact right person and start a conversation, which brings me to tip 2, how to start creating a conversation with your audience so that you're not consistently trying to warm an audience up. One of our biggest mistakes as marketers and advertisers is that we walk up to strangers, stick out our hand and say, hey, give me 10 bucks. Personally, I'm not going to give a stranger $10, and probably neither would you. Most people wouldn't. So we need to get away using the system of Facebook, because it is a system, to create conversation. Then we're going to talk about partnerships and what you can use a partnership for when you're actually advertising on Facebook. And like I said, then there's that bonus tip at the end. Okay, and I went the wrong way because I always do. All right, so for those of you that may not have been on one of my webinars before, I am Amanda Herr. I am the owner and president of Digital Desk, formerly Social Fuel Media, and I am a digital marketing virtual assistant. What that means is that myself and my team will help you with all of your digital marketing needs. So whether that is a full suite of digital marketing, or if you just need a one-off of like a lead page, or if you need us to fix your website, or you need us to do maybe a couple of social media posts or help you learn about digital marketing like we're doing today, that's what we do. And I am an advertising and marketing expert with over 27 years of experience. My most recent big girl job, I guess, was vice president of advertising sales for CNN. I was there for 17 years. And I am currently also an adjunct professor over at Macomb Community College and teach digital marketing. So as you can see, I live and breathe this stuff. I love this stuff. It's some of my favorite things to do. That's actually, it's not only my job, it's also my hobby. And obviously, there we go. So the first thing, tip 1, choosing the right target audience. So many times we might think about our target audience on Facebook as just very basic. So we're choosing a gender, you know, we're choosing an age. We may get a little crazy and choose a location, or we might choose, you know, if I'm selling golf clubs, they like golf, but we don't really think outside of the box. Facebook is literally a computer. It's only going to do what you tell it to do. In Facebook ads, while they are smart, they're not going to think like a human. So if you don't tell it you want something, it's not going to think, well, they might want that. if you don't tell it, it's not going to do it. So I'm going to take you over and I'm going to take you to the actual Facebook ads system. And we're going to talk about some of the ways that you can target. There are a little bit different. So can you see this tab? Can someone give me a head, like a shake? Can you see this tab for Facebook? Someone put in chat and just let me know you can see it, please.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Laura. And so here is when you get into Facebook ads, I'm in my ads manager. So I'm in ads manager and I've gone into create an ad, and I'm now in the area where I can actually choose how to target my audience. Now, basic targeting of an audience means that you can come down here and you can choose a location, and you can come down here and you can choose them by whatever they might match. So again, I love that everyone thinks that everyone needs their products, but we don't have enough money to get everyone to buy our products. So my first tip under this tip about targeting is, if you only have $150 to spend, don't pick the entire United States, because you know what will happen? You'll get zero frequency, which means somebody might see it only one time and not multiple times. And you'll just have this wide swath of a cold audience who's never heard of you before. So first tip underneath the tip of target is choose an area that you want to own and then branch out from there. So first we're gonna, like for me, I'm trying to own Michigan. Okay, so I target all of my ads to Michigan. When I feel like I'm getting traction in Michigan, I'll add in some of the surrounding states or maybe some states that I'm interested in. But right now, I only have enough money to choose Michigan. So that's where you would come up here and you would just say, nope, not the United States. I just want Michigan. Now, if you have even less, or if you're more of a local company, and you want to just target maybe a city or a couple of cities or a county, go that route. Now you have to have a large enough audience. So if you're going to do it that small on the geography side, you can't really slice and dice too much, but I can choose just Michigan. And then I can come down here, and instead of just saying women, because a lot of my clients are women, some of them are men, but for me it'd be all, but for you, let's say it's women. I can then give it an age, right? Any age I want, but I know my audience is interested in other people who do what I do. So they might be really into a woman who is like huge in the industry that I'm in. They might be into like Amy Porterfield. So I'm going to type in Amy Porterfield. So people who are interested in Amy Porterfield. So I'm not saying like people who like digital marketing. I'm saying people who like Amy Porterfield. And Amy Porterfield does exactly what I do. So I want those people to see me. So I'm choosing her audience. For you, you might have a competitor. Let's say you're a furniture company and there's another furniture company that's your competitor. If they're big enough, they're going to be here. I don't know if Art Van would be here, just to pick that, but probably not. Yep, Art Van. So somebody who wants, like used to like Art Van, let's say you're a furniture company now, Art Van's going out of business. Guess what? Those people are interested in furniture. So you pick an audience that's interested in Art Van. So you think about not just they're interested in furniture, or they're interested in home goods, or they're interested in something like that. You pick something specific that they're interested in, somebody that is a leader in that space. Now, would you want to add a bunch of them in there? Like, you know, Amy Porterfield, Mari Smith, all these other people, Gary Vaynerchuk, who, by the way, drive me crazy, but like, would I want to put them all in? I could, but what would be even better is if I did Amy Porterfield as one ad, Gary Vaynerchuk as another ad, Mari Smith as another ad, and they're all the same ad. I just keep switching out, you know, I switched out the names when I created the ad, and then I see which audience is actually doing better for me. And then I turn off the ones that aren't. And then boom, I've started to create an audience for myself of people who are really interested in what I do, not just happen to be interested in digital marketing. They're literally interested in what I do because they follow these people. So that's tip one or two, underneath tip one. But the other thing is, think outside the box too, guys. So I had a client come to me, and this is one of my favorite things that I was able to do. She was having some issues with her dance studio. It was really, she was kind of like, she'd owned it for 20 years. It just wasn't getting any more new kids involved. And so she was really focused on, toddlers, because they're just coming into the dance. Because when you start dance and you're 8 years old, you've pretty much decided on what studio you're going to stay with, right? But so she was looking at the parents who have not put their kids in dance yet. So instead of picking parents that were into dance, which, that could definitely be a target, I chose to do that, but then in a separate ad set, I chose parents who were just interested in toddler stuff. Because guess what? They've never been in dance before. So why would they have ever liked any dance pages? Because Facebook doesn't know that they've been talking to as much as you think they're listening. They don't know that they were talking to their husband about putting little Sally in dance. And if she didn't go and check out, mom didn't go and look at other Facebook pages that are about dance, Facebook doesn't know she likes dance. But if you go to pages that are about toddler stuff or things about parenting of that age range, and you have an ad for dance studio, then she's going to interact with that, because she was thinking about it, but she hadn't really started to investigate. So when we started to do that, this studio audience had 30 more kids sign up because they were actually reached by this Bravo dance studio when they were actually thinking about their children. Does that make sense? I can't see everyone's face. So you want to start thinking outside of your, core thought process. If I'm thinking about someone who is interested in ministry, let's say, Vince, if someone's interested in some sort of a ministry and they're thinking about going into ministry or thinking about starting a small business, right? Becoming an entrepreneur with a Christian side to it, they're not necessarily going to be reached by going to all of the basic entrepreneur pages, because they're not an entrepreneur yet. But they might be interested in things like small business loans, or they might be interested in different, other Christian-based companies. And so reaching those people in that respect would be a good way to go. Another example of this would be if you're trying to reach, let's say, an expat who might live in England. This happened too. So like somebody was trying to find people who are interested in going and visiting Arizona, and they were targeting like people who are in England. Well, they really thought that people who were in England who were interested possibly in things in Arizona, like Arizona State or some of the companies in Arizona, if they had liked those pages, but yet they chose location of England, they were much, much closer to getting to their target audience. Rather than just hitting England, who are interested in travel, they said England, interested in travel, and these other pages that are located, these businesses that are located in Arizona. So that's just a way to take your big giant grouping and keep slicing it down so that it fits a little bit better with what you're trying to do. Because one of the main goals that we're trying to get with our Facebook ads is not to reach somebody one time. If you reach somebody one time, you've just wasted your money. You need frequency, okay? So there's a couple of things, and this is being recorded, right? Yeah, there's a couple of things. When you're looking at Facebook, there's 3 things that you need to understand. Impression. An impression is just basically when your ad has been served. Reach means the specific people that you have actually reached. So you can look at reach as a different person every single time. Frequency means how many times a specific person has actually seen your ad. Okay, so what you need to know is you could have a ton of impressions, but you could have reached maybe a bunch of people only one time. So that's why we're going to focus in on a specific location, because you want to have a ton of impressions, smaller reach, higher frequency. You need to reach somebody at least 5 to 10 times. It could take up to 20, but we're going to focus between 5 and 10 times before they're going to take an action. It used to be 3 times, but with all of what they call clutter, which is basically messaging that's coming at you constantly, which we all have, now you actually have to be there 5 to 10 times before they will stop their scroll and start to pay attention to you. So smaller location, right? Very targeted audience. And then you're going to want to customize your messaging. Now, if I am picking Michigan for my ads, and I am starting to speak to them about, and they're a cold audience, so I'm not remarketing, which we're going to talk about in a minute. So I've never met them before. They're that stranger that we usually ask right up, for $10, but now we're not. We've never met them. Talk to me like that. Let me know about your brand. Give me a little bit more information. Introduce yourself, okay, with that ad. And then we're going to get into the next step in a minute. So does anybody have any questions about that, the targeting piece? I get a little passionate about it. I kind of dig my job, can you tell? Okay, so I'm going to go back. Did I hit all my points? Oh, boost, okay. The other thing is you're gonna get notices from Facebook constantly that are gonna say, boost your ad, boost your ad. And you don't wanna boost your ad all the time, A. And B, if you do, you wanna do it from Ads Manager. And here's why. First of all, boosting an ad is great, or boosting a post is great, I should say, when you have a really nice post and there's some information, it's a good graphic, and it gives a lot of kind of like looks organic when it's in someone's news feed. That's great. But if you're doing it to a cold audience, they're never going to stop and read your stuff. Okay, I've never heard of you before. So unless you're giving me a reason to stop, because social media is all about me, right? The user. So unless I've heard of you before, I'm never going to stop and read your stuff. So boosting a post works really well in a plan. So when you're, reaching them, they've seen your ads one time or a couple times, and then you start to remarket to them, then you can start boosting your ads. So like in the case of the Bravo Dance Studio, we reached out to that cold audience and we warmed them up first. And then we redoubled back to that audience and we sent them some boosted posts about all the kids and the cute pictures. And so like now they've heard of us and now they want to be a part of us. So it's about introducing yourself, then letting them know that you can fix their, give them a solution to their issue and make them want that solution. That's what a boosted post should be for. It's not for cold audiences. You're going to waste your money if you do that. So just FYI. And if you only have $5 to spend, don't even bother. I know that Facebook tells you that you should, but it's because they want you to pay them. They're a business. So they should be a part of your plan, not your whole plan. You want to pick the right ad. So as I said, Facebook is a computer. So if you tell Facebook that you want brand awareness, which is just getting as many impressions, remember, downloads of your ad as possible, that's all they're going to do. It's not going to be like, I think Amanda meant that she wanted to sell some stuff. It's literally just going to give you brand awareness. So you need to make sure that you're picking the right goal. So think about, why are you running your ad? Are you running an ad just to get people warmed up to your brand? Are you running an ad so that people can actually get a freebie from you? Are you running an ad to get purchases? Like, what are you running your ad for? And then use the right type of ad. So there's a lot of different ones. For awareness, again, there's that brand awareness, which is going to give you a bunch of impressions. Reach will give you a bunch of different people. All right. Traffic is where you want to get people off of Facebook onto your website. So if you want website traffic, traffic would be your game. Engagement's going to be for post pushing, events, and those are your engagement ads. App installs, pretty self-explanatory. Video views is to get someone to view your videos, which can play a key role, and we'll get to why in a minute. Lead generation, here's the thing. Lead generation, the Facebook lead generation ad, they make you use their lead form, and their lead forms are getting better, but I still don't like them. And they don't have a lot of like conversion to them. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So I don't generally use that one for when I'm trying to get people's information. Messaging, which we're going to talk about in a minute, which is actually pretty awesome if you do it right. Conversion, if you're trying to get them to fill something out, like a lead page that's not a Facebook form, or you're trying to get them to buy something or download something, that's your game. But you have to have a pixel, and we're going to talk about that. Catalog sales, if you're trying to sell product, and then store traffic, self-explanatory. So pick the right one. Look at Facebook as not a partner. Look at Facebook like a computer. You're programming a computer. So you need your code to be sound and strong. So pick the right ad you're trying to do. So create conversation. So this goes back to why I set you up with the targeting and the types of ads, because you can't create conversation unless you do that. So, oh goodness. All right. So how many of you, I'm sure, how many of you just go like that if you've heard of remarketing? Remarketing, okay. Remarketing, yes, thank you, Michael. Remarketing is when you actually reach a target audience or reach target and then reach them again, reach them again. So you're remarketing to the same target. So it takes away that whole asking a stranger for money. You're no longer having to do that. And guess what it also does? It saves you money, because let's say when you're doing an ad to a cold audience, you've got 1,000, probably more, but 1,000 people that you're trying to reach. I've lost my arms. But then when you start to remarket, you're only talking to the people who saw your first ad. So that's this much, right? And then when you repart and market to the other people that took an action, now you're only marketing to that much, right? So you're only spending this much. So it makes you save money, which is awesome. And you're going to get a higher return on your investment, sometimes 7 times higher than what you would get to a cold audience. So it's pretty sweet. But you need to have a Facebook pixel. Now it's really easy to do a pixel. It can be a little daunting. We're going to talk about pixel next week. But you put a pixel, it's a pixel just means like if you're looking at a screen, and you know those little dots on a TV screen that make up the TV screen, that's a pixel. So this pixel, it's also called a tag, is put onto your website, and it will start to send back information to Facebook about who has gone to your website and where they've gone and what they've done. And so then you can come in and you can create audiences that are created with who's gone to this page, who's gone to that page, who clicked this button but then didn't follow through, who got into your cart but then left. Like all of these custom conversations that you can have are because of this little 1x1 pixel, okay? And it's really, really easy to set up those custom audiences once you actually have the pixel on your website. The other thing you can do is you can set up an audience of people who have viewed all of your videos, some of your videos, one of your videos, which is important because if you're selling, if I'm like trying to push my Facebook training and they saw an ad for my Facebook training, I can then retarget them with another ad about Facebook and my training. And they've already seen me talk about it. Now they're going to get another conversation piece about that because I've retargeted them with a custom audience. And then my Instagram audience, I can do the same. So here's how easy it is. I pulled it up to show you guys. So I'm in my ads manager, okay? I have a pixel on my website. Now, you have to have the pixel, even though, like, you know, and the other piece to this is now Facebook's being kind of a jerk and making you have a business manager, but it's really simple. They'll actually create it for you. And we're going to talk about that next week. Anyway, so you create a custom audience. Okay, and I click on that. And then it's going to say, well, what kind of custom audience do you want? Do you want a custom audience built off of your website traffic? So then I can click that and it says, okay, well, and my pixel's not going, but basically it'll say like, what pages do you want? What kind of activity do you want? Do you want me to put in there for your website? Another one that you can do is a customer list. So you know those customer lists that you have laying around or in MailChimp, or in my case, Kajabi, you download those into a CSV file, which is just an Excel, it's like an Excel file, it's just a comma separated version. And then you upload them here. And then guess what? Facebook goes and finds them and makes a custom list for you. And then you can hit those people, talk about a warm audience with an ad and warm up an audience that may not have thought of you for a while. Here is video, Instagram profile, somebody who has responded or interacted with an event, somebody who filled out a lead form, somebody who actually was on your Facebook page, and so on. So there's a lot that goes into it. The point is when you start to use your Business Manager and Pixel, you are actually able to create these things. These actually, I think you can create without a Pixel. So even today, you guys could go back and start working on these. So why do we care? We care because, as I've said a million times so far today, people don't want to, they don't pay attention to you right away. And then when they do, they don't want you to hit them up for money right away, unless you're selling like a widget or something, something like, a dog leash. But if you need them to trust you and be a loyal customer and come back to you, and if you're selling a service in particular, then you need to have a consistent conversation. So now I've created my custom audiences, and I can start to create a conversation around those audiences. One of the things before I switch this slide, I want to mention is that you should craft your messages accordingly, like I've said before, and then also lead them into an action step, which we'll get to in a moment. Okay, so leading them, taking what we just learned, okay, about custom audiences, we can then create a funnel. So a funnel, all that means is we're walking someone through steps of actually becoming a customer. So for instance, I might run an overall cold audience ad that's a video so that I can make sure I can retarget them. And I might run that ad about my Facebook training, or it's more likely it's about my business. So let's talk about my first one is my business. Hey, Digital Desk is, out there. We provide these services. Here's the solution that I'm going to give you. The second ad, I retarget or remarket. So it's a video ad. So I only create an audience of just the people that saw that first ad. And then I hit them with an ad about my Digital Desk training that's coming up this Friday. So they're like, oh, I know Digital Desk. Yeah, I saw that ad. I saw it like 3 times last week. She sounds like she knows what she's doing. I'm going to go to her training, right? So then I take the people who registered for my webinar, which I'm not doing this to you guys, don't worry, but registered for my webinar, and I take those names and make an audience out of them in Facebook. And then I hit them with an ad about my, maybe if there's like a micro Facebook training that they can purchase and own, right? So then I send them that. And then I send that registration one again, and I add in those people who saw that second ad and send them a freebie. But guess what I'm doing? I'm sending them through this funnel of action, and there's like different arms on that funnel, right? But I'm talking to this many people, not this many people. And I'm only paying for this many people. So I'm paying maybe 1/3 of what I would pay in order to get a conversion or get someone to buy something, rather than constantly talking to that cold audience. Am I making sense? Head shakes, head no. Yes? Okay. So it seems daunting, right? It seems like there's a lot, but really when you map it out, it's not, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. it's cold audience, warm them, buy, right? You could do that, and then that's going to give you less spend and more return on your investment. Okay, now this is a new one that I am in love with and I'm playing with currently as my hobby. This is chatbots. So these are not new. These chatbots have been around for a while, but in order to use them wisely, you can set them up with different companies. So like there's ManyChat as a company. I personally like Mobile Monkey. They're like $19 a month. But what these chatbots do is not only is if someone chats with you on your Facebook page, that it'll answer questions automatically and send you all their information, or on your website, they'll do the same thing. But if you're using ads, so remember in Facebook's, the different types of ads that you can use from Facebook, and one of them was Messenger ad. So you do a Messenger ad, people say accept message, right? Or click on the messaging button. And so now they've told Facebook it's okay for, in my case, Digital Desk to message them. So now that's all good. And my chat bot says, awesome. Mind giving me your email address? Cool, thanks. Hey, can you give me your phone number just in case I need to get in touch with you? Great, how can I help you today? Then they ask you a question. If it's a question that I have already programmed, then the answer will go to them automatically. If it's, you know, a yes or no question and they answer yes, then I can send people this way. They answer no, I can send them this way. If it's not a programmed question and they need me, they can contact me right there by clicking a button. Now, that is immediate access to me of someone who is interested in what I have to offer. Okay, so there's nothing more hot of an audience than that. And you can have different types of conversations, but on the simplest level, which is where I'm at right now, the simplest level, all they have to do is hit a button and they get to me. The other piece of that is that now I can message them anytime I want because they have given Facebook the permission to have me do that. And I can also send them ads. So they're going to be a custom audience of mine as well. Now, this is not, it's not really, it goes against all the spam rules, but if you wanted to, you could also download them and put them in your CRM like a MailChimp. I personally wouldn't necessarily do that because people might get mad, but if you wanted to, you could, okay? But talk about interaction, collecting data, having a conversation, because here's the deal, guys. When you're marketing on digital, you cannot let them think that you're just some other company. Everything we do in digital marketing is not about us. It's about the person behind the one screen that decided to stop and interact with our brand. And if we don't give them the respect that they deserve for doing that by allowing them to interact with us on a personal level, then we're just like anybody else and we're going to waste our time in digital marketing. We might as well go do a print ad or buy a newspaper ad. No pun in, you know, I'm sorry for anybody that works in newspaper, but you're pretty much going to waste your time and your money. Okay, so tip 3 real quick, partnership. Partnership is a pretty powerful thing. So partners are always awesome. And they call it co-branding. We used to do this a lot at CNN. We would co-brand. Everybody wanted to co-brand with our brand because it was CNN. Not so much anymore, I would assume. But so it's called co-branding. It's something that you can do on Facebook. But where you use it on your advertising level is if you have someone who does something similar but isn't necessarily like head to head with you and has a similar audience that you want to reach, then they could actually do a co-branded ad. Let's say you're doing some sort of event together, or maybe you're going to do a Facebook Live together, or whatever it is. They can do an ad and they can co-brand it with you. So they do run the ad, they pay for the ad, They put your brand on it, and then you do the same. So you put their brand on your ad with you, right? And the messaging is about you and them to your audiences, all of your custom audiences, etc. Right? So you're both doing that for each other. So what does that do? You've spent half the amount of money to reach double the amount of people. And you're not doing it with a total competitor. You're doing it with someone who has a similar audience that might be side by side and parallel to you. So again, Vince, I'm picking you because I can see your face. So maybe some of your entrepreneurs and your businesses that you work with, right? So you guys do an ad, but you co-brand it with some of those guys, right? They do an ad and co-brand it with you. And so now, your people are seeing the strength of the services that you provide, okay? And your guy or girl is getting some love and some more awareness, and vice versa for you as well. So it's a pretty powerful thing, and it can save you money for sure. So the other thing that you can do when you're done is be in the same business manager, which again, we're going to talk about next week. But when you're in the same business manager, you can share audiences. So like all the stuff I've been talking about, all of my custom audiences, my pixel, all that good stuff, I can then share with somebody else and they can share theirs with me. So when you do that, you have a much broader audience of people who are specific and warm, instead of a broad audience of a bunch of cold people who are going to spend a lot of, or cost you a lot of money. Now you might ask, okay, Amanda, I don't have any warm audience on digital right now. What do I do? I would suggest you start to build it. It's going to cost you a little bit more upfront, but the first thing you would do is put your customer list in and start to warm them up because they may not have heard of you for a while. And then also, like, you could do emails and things just to start warming those people up. You could do a video ad and just like really, really target it. And then, keep that as a warm audience. And then over time, you just focus just on those audiences, and you don't even try cold audiences anymore, because you need to spend your money wisely until we're all rich and famous. And then when we're all rich and famous, we can build giant audiences of cold people. So, and then you can call me and I don't know, you can hire us. So you can hire us and you'll never have to do anything ever again. So here is the bonus tip. And a lot of people get really like frustrated with Facebook because they're like, I can't talk to anybody. Nobody's ever there. You don't want to be this person over on the right-hand side. So this is just a URL that you can visit, and that looks like this when you go over there. But here's the tip. It's not just the URL. So you come here and you're like, okay, well, I want help. Then you scroll down, you get rid of all of this. Don't even pay attention. Come down here and it says find answers or contact support. You hit get started, you hit ads or any of the other things. This is it right here. This is only here at certain times of the day. It's not always here. If there's not somebody that's available, or if they're done for the day, and in fact, during COVID, this disappeared altogether for a little while. But if I click on it, I can open up a chat. This is a 13-minute wait now, but I give it all the information and I get an actual person. So while my first interaction might be a bot, I get somebody who's actually there to take care of my problem. So I had a client who could not get, for the life of her, could not get her name changed. And then we were able to get through that. Then when I changed my name from Social Fuel Media to Digital Desk, I literally had to fight with this nameless person through chat in order to get them to change my name. But this is how you do it. Not everybody knows about this. So this is kind of like a fun little behind the scenes way to get life a little bit easier on Facebook. And that is really it for today. Do you have any questions before I go over what next week is going to look like? Mind is kind of like, what the heck was she talking about this whole time? No, you know what? You might want to you can rewatch it. That's what the power of this recording is. And I'm going to send you the PDF. I'm always here for answers and questions. I love to help out and help you guys figure it out, because I would have loved it if somebody would have helped me when I started 6 years ago, because I wasted a lot of money. And my goal, and when I teach at Macomb, is that people, know the power that they have at their own fingertips, and that they don't go and pay someone to do something and not understand what they get back. Like, you can always hire us, and I want you to understand what you get back, the reports you get back. I walk you through them. It's like, I want you guys to be empowered, is basically what I'm trying to say. The other thing is, so next week, we're going to talk about the Facebook Pixel and the Business Manager, which is two of the things that I mentioned today. There is a list on my website now for all of my webinars that are coming up on Fridays. So I believe my assistant Ese has put the registration up on that page. If she hasn't, she will very soon. And if you haven't followed me yet, please follow me on all these platforms. And I guess that's it. Oh, this is my new logo. So you guys can let me know what you think. He actually built it to look like me. So hopefully, I think she's cuter myself, but so let me know what you guys think of my little emoji there. Oh, thank you, Vince. Yeah, I literally just got it last night. So I'm very excited.
Amanda,
Anyway.
who is doing your graphics and your website?
My website is done by my assistant. Her name is Ese, and her name is Ese Wong, and she actually is a rock star. So, but my emoji was done by Nikolai Gibbons, who does it on the side. He's actually my pastor. So He actually built this for me. Yeah, he's pretty awesome. So
yeah, it's cool. I like what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you, Laura. I'm so glad you're on here. It's nice I can't see you, but it's nice to hear you. I'm actually
going
back.
To see me.
Oh, you're so
I've
funny.
been working from home for 8 weeks now, and it's not pretty.
Oh, stop it. I said to Charlie today, I was like, this having to do my hair every day is getting old.
I get it.
Oh, thank you, Denise. Oh, you guys are awesome. So, and if you guys need, like I said, if you need anything, or if you rewatch this and have a question, please let me know. Vince, if Dana watches it and she wants to call me, I would love to hear from her. And that's it. So hopefully I'll see you next week. Don't forget to register for next week so you get all the stuff, and you'll get all this stuff after Zoom actually processes it through for me. Okay? Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.